You're in the shower, winning an argument that never happened, against someone who'll probably never say, rehearsing the perfect comeback to an accusation that only exists in your head. If you've got a mental courtroom in permanent session where you're constantly defending yourself against imaginary prosecutors, this is for you. Because here's what nobody's telling you. You're not crazy. You're not overthinking. Your brain is doing something way more strategic, and understanding why might completely change how you see yourself. Arguments in the shower, before bed, while driving, in the middle of a conversation. You always win, obviously, because you made up both sides of the conversation. You know it's fiction, but you can't stop. And afterwards, you feel a bit ridiculous, but you keep doing it anyway. Here's what's really going on. It's not preparation. It's hypervigilance disguised as control. Pay attention, because what I'm about to show you will make you think differently about those imaginary conversations. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't about being prepared for confrontation. That's what your brain tells you. But that's not what's really happening. Here's the truth. Imaginary arguments are your nervous system trying to control the uncontrollable. Think about it. What are you actually rehearsing? Judgment, rejection, attack, misunderstanding, blame. You're not practicing for a debate competition. You're mentally defending yourself against threats that will probably never arrive. And here's the part that changes everything. This pattern doesn't develop because you're paranoid. It develops because at some point, being mentally ready to defend yourself felt like survival. Your brain learned, if I can predict the attack, if I can rehearse the defense, maybe I won't be caught off guard. Maybe I won't be hurt. It's a trauma response. Not dramatic trauma necessarily, just a nervous system that decided attacking first, mentally, equals staying safe.
Now, not everyone does this the same way. There are actually 4 distinct patterns, and you're probably going to recognize yourself in one of these. Type 1, the defender. You imagine accusations. If they say X, I'll say Y. You're constantly anticipating attacks that never come. Your brain is preloading defenses for situations that don't exist yet. You're not confident. You're hypervigilant. Type 2, the rewriter. You replay past conversations, but better. I should have said. You're never satisfied with how you handled real situations, so you rewrite them obsessively in your head. You're not learning, you're punishing yourself. Type 3, the prosecutor. You're building cases against people who hurt you. If I saw them today, I'd say X. Imaginary justice you'll never actually execute. You're not healing, you're rehearsing revenge that keeps the wound open. Type 4, the prepper. You rehearse future conflicts that might happen, difficult conversations you're going to have. Except 90% of them never occur. You're not being strategic, you're living in a future that doesn't exist. Which one are you? Because here's what they all have in common: control. Let's look at what's really driving this, because it isn't logic, it's fear. Core fear number 1, perfectionism and self-criticism. If you constantly dwell on your social blunders, if you replay moments thinking, I should have said something better, if you are your own harshest critic, then those imaginary arguments are rehearsals aimed at avoiding failure next time. Your brain thinks, if I rehearse enough, I won't mess up. If I prepare for every possible response, I'll finally get it right. But life doesn't follow your script. And the more you rehearse, the more you notice when reality doesn't align, which leads you to rehearse even more. Core fear number 2, anxiety about being judged by others. What you're really afraid of is people thinking poorly of you, being misunderstood, not being able to defend yourself in the moment. Mental rehearsals create an illusion of control. If I practice, I'll be ready. But here's the problem. A real conversation will never play out the way you imagined, because people are unpredictable, because context changes everything, because your perfect script doesn't account for chaos. So in reality, you aren't preparing, you're creating a false sense of security that reality will inevitably shatter. If we look at it from a neurological perspective, it becomes even more interesting. Winning an argument, even an imaginary one, releases dopamine. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between real and imagined victories. It simply registers the sequence: conflict, resolution, reward. This gives you a dose of gratification, and your brain craves more. It's a cycle: stress, imaginary argument, I win, dopamine, Repeat. You think you're solving problems, but in reality, you're feeding an addiction to mental conflict. And the more you do it, the more your brain seeks out reasons to argue. It begins to perceive threats where none exist and treat neutral interactions as potential battles. You aren't protecting yourself. You are training your brain to view the world as a hostile place.
Let's talk about what this is really costing you, because it is costing you and you don't even realize it. Cost number 1, you are never present. You are either reliving the past or rehearsing the future. You miss the moment you're actually in. That conversation happening right now, you're only half listening because you're busy preparing for a confrontation that might never happen. Cost number 2, it increases anxiety instead of reducing it. You think preparing calms you down, but in reality, it reinforces a state of high alert. Every rehearsal tells your nervous system, yes, you are right to be on guard. Danger is coming. You aren't calming down, you're becoming increasingly tense. Cost number 3, your relationships suffer. You start perceiving threats where there are none. You get defensive with people who never attacked you. You attribute motives based on arguments that only took place in your head. Someone says something neutral and you react as if you've just been accused of something, because in your mind, they already have. Cost number 4, exhaustion. Mental energy spent on imaginary battles is still energy spent. You're tired, seemingly for no real reason, but there is a reason. You've been fighting invisible wars all day long. So what do you do with this? First, recognize it's not preparation. It's a nervous system response. You're not being strategic, you're being triggered. And that's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to notice. Second, ask yourself what you're really defending against. Not the imaginary person, the real fear underneath. Rejection? Misunderstanding? Not being enough? Because that's what needs attention, not the fake argument, the wound it's trying to protect. Third, bring yourself back to now. When you catch yourself mid-rehearsal, pause. Notice where you are, what's actually happening right now, not in your head, right now. The more you practice presence, the less power the imaginary courtroom has. The truth is, you don't have a real problem. You're simply in a state of hypervigilance. There was a time when hypervigilance made sense. It might have even kept you safe. But if you keep fighting battles that don't exist, it's time to ask yourself, do I still need this armor? Because the world isn't as hostile as your brain thinks it is, and you are stronger than the version of you that needed to rehearse every defense. If this resonated with you, and if you want more psychology that truly explains why you are the way you are, then subscribe, because this channel is made for you.